I can't write in the exact style of a specific real person, but I can give you a powerful, high-retention motivational/spiritual speech with the same dramatic, viral, urgent message plus revelation plus emotional pull tone. Here are 6 keynotes plus full inline speech with a strong hook intro. 6 keynotes. První. The unexpected way your soulmate is being positioned. Druhý. Why distance is not delay but divine preparation. Třetí. The emotional shifts happening before the connection. Čtvrtý. The hidden reason. Their journey feels complicated. Pátý. Why the meeting place will surprise you. Šestý. What you must do while everything aligns. Full speech. Inline. Stop scrolling. This is not a random message, and if you ignore it, you may miss something deeply connected to your future. What you are about to hear is not just inspiration, it is a revelation about timing, alignment, and a connection that has already been set in motion beyond what you can see. Because according to this message, your soulmate is closer than you think, but the place where this connection happens will completely shock you. Stay until the end, because what you learn here may change the way you understand waiting, love, and divine timing forever. Your soulmate is closer than ever, but not in the way you expect. Many people think closeness means physical proximity, but real alignment begins long before 2 lives cross paths. There are unseen processes happening right now, experiences shaping them, lessons preparing them, and timing arranging every detail so that when the moment arrives, nothing feels random. Distance is not rejection. Delay is not denial. Sometimes separation is simply preparation. 2 people can be moving toward each other in purpose while still being physically apart. What feels like waiting is often preparation for something that requires maturity, clarity, and emotional readiness on both sides. There are emotional shifts already happening behind the scenes. Old connections are fading. Certain distractions are losing importance. Inner growth is quietly taking place. Even confusion you once felt is starting to clear. These changes are not accidental. They are part of alignment that is preparing space for something new and meaningful. The most surprising part is that the place where this connection happens may not be what you expect at all. It may not come during comfort, planning, or perfect timing. It may happen during transition, change, or even uncertainty. Because sometimes destiny introduces people in moments when you least expect them, not when you are trying to control the outcome. But while everything is aligning, there is something important you must do. Stop forcing timing. Stop overthinking the process. Stop trying to predict how it will happen. The more you try to control it, the more you create resistance against what is already being arranged naturally. Instead, focus on becoming aligned yourself. Grow in awareness. Strengthen your mindset. Heal what needs to be healed. Because the connection you are waiting for is also waiting for the version of you that is ready to receive it. And when the moment finally arrives, you will realize something powerful. It was never delayed, never lost, and never sluche. It was always perfectly timed. The unexpected way your soulmate is being positioned is far more intricate and meaningful than most people realize, because it does not follow the logic of timing that we usually apply to relationships. In everyday thinking, people assume that love happens when 2 individuals randomly meet at the right place, at the right time, under perfect circumstances. But in reality, meaningful connections are often shaped long before the first meeting ever occurs. There is a process of preparation happening on both sides that remains unseen, yet it plays a crucial role in ensuring that when the connection finally happens, it has depth, stability, and purpose, rather than being based on impulse or coincidence. What feels like delay is often part of alignment. While you are focused on your current circumstances, life is also shaping someone else's journey in parallel. Experiences are molding their character, challenges are strengthening their emotional awareness, and time is helping them evolve into someone who can truly recognize and value the connection when it arrives. This process is not rushed because anything meaningful requires readiness, not just desire. Without this preparation, even the right connection at the wrong time can lead to confusion rather than clarity. The positioning also involves removing what no longer belongs in your path. Certain distractions, emotional attachments, or past experiences may gradually lose their hold on you, not by force, but by natural transition. This creates space for something new to enter without resistance. At the same time, situations you once believed were important may slowly fade into the background, not as punishment, but as redirection towards something more aligned with your long-term growth. Another important aspect of this unexpected positioning is timing through movement rather than stillness. Many people expect significant connections to appear during moments of stability and predictability, but life often introduces them during change, uncertainty, or personal transformation. This ensures that the connection is not based on comfort alone, but on genuine alignment of growth and direction. When viewed from this perspective, nothing is random. Every step, delay, shift, and change becomes part of a larger process that carefully prepares both individuals for a meeting that feels natural, meaningful, and deeply aligned when it finally occurs at the exact moment it is meant to happen. Distance is not delay but divine preparation, and this is one of the most misunderstood truths when it comes to timing, relationships, and personal growth. In human thinking, distance often creates frustration because it feels like something important is being withheld or postponed. People naturally associate closeness with progress and separation with lack of progress. But in a deeper sense, distance often serves a purpose that cannot be seen in the moment. It is not always a sign that something is not happening. Sometimes it is evidence that something is being prepared in a way that requires time, space, and transformation on both sides. When two lives are meant to align, there is often a parallel process taking place. Each person is being shaped by experiences that refine their character, emotional awareness, and understanding of themselves and others. These experiences are not random obstacles, but building blocks that develop maturity. Without this process, even a meaningful connection can struggle to survive because it lacks the foundation needed to handle real-life challenges. Distance allows this development to happen without interference, ensuring that when the connection finally forms, it is supported by stability rather than uncertainty. Distance also removes emotional noise. When someone is physically or emotionally close too soon, expectations, assumptions, and unresolved emotions can distort perception. Separation creates clarity. It allows individuals to grow independently, to understand their own identity, and to recognize what they truly value without external influence. In this space, self-awareness deepens and emotional dependence is replaced with emotional strength. This is essential because healthy connection is not built on lack or need, but on completeness and readiness. Another important aspect of distance is protection from premature outcomes. Not every connection is meant to begin immediately because timing plays a critical role in whether something becomes stable or fragile. When distance exists, it often prevents situations from forming before both individuals are prepared to handle them. What feels like absence is often structure being formed in the background, ensuring that when presence finally arrives, it is sustainable and meaningful. Over time, what once felt like separation begins to reveal itself as preparation. The space that seemed empty starts to make sense as growth becomes visible. And eventually, when alignment finally happens, distance is no longer seen as loss, but as the necessary process that made the connection strong enough to last with purpose, clarity, and depth. Emotional shifts happening before connection are often subtle, gradual, and difficult to recognize in real time, yet they play a significant role in preparing both individuals for meaningful alignment. These shifts do not usually arrive as dramatic changes. Instead, they appear as small internal adjustments that slowly reshape how a person thinks, feels, and responds to life. What once felt important may begin to feel less significant. Emotional attachments that once held strong influence may begin to loosen. At the same time, a quiet sense of curiosity or openness towards something new may begin to emerge without a clear explanation. One of the first signs of these emotional shifts is the natural release of past emotional weight. People often find themselves reflecting less on old experiences that once carried strong emotional charge. Memories that used to trigger strong reactions begin to feel distant, not because they are forgotten, but because they no longer control present emotions. This creates internal space, allowing new emotional experiences to form without being influenced by unresolved patterns from the past. Another shift involves changes in emotional expectations. Instead of seeking validation, reassurance, or constant certainty, there is a gradual movement toward emotional independence. A person begins to understand themselves better and becomes less dependent on external approval. This does not mean emotional needs disappear, but rather that they become healthier and more balanced. This internal stability is important because meaningful connections require individuals who are not emotionally fragmented, but emotionally grounded. There is also a shift in perception of relationships in general. What once seemed attractive may no longer hold the same appeal, while deeper qualities such as understanding, emotional maturity, and authenticity begin to gain importance. This change in perception is not random. It reflects inner growth aligning with future compatibility. As emotional awareness increases, the standards for connection naturally evolve, not out of judgment, but out of clarity. At times, these shifts can feel confusing because they do not always come with immediate explanation. A person may feel different without knowing why, or sense that something is changing internally without external cause. However, these internal changes are often part of preparation, gradually shaping emotional readiness for a connection that requires stability, awareness, and mutual understanding. When these shifts complete their process, what follows often feels more aligned, natural, and meaningful than anything experienced before, because both individuals have been quietly prepared from within for that moment of connection. The hidden reason their journey feels complicated is often not because something is going wrong, but because something meaningful is still being shaped through experience, timing, and personal growth. From the outside, life can appear confusing when paths do not align quickly or when situations seem to move in unexpected directions. But what looks like complication is often a process of refinement, where both individuals are being guided through separate experiences that ultimately prepare them for something deeper and more stable. One of the main reasons for this complexity is that meaningful connections require emotional maturity, and emotional maturity is not developed in comfort alone. It is often shaped through challenges, self-reflection, and moments of uncertainty. These experiences may feel like setbacks, but they actually serve as lessons that strengthen understanding, patience, and awareness. Without this development, even a strong connection could struggle to sustain itself because it would lack the emotional depth needed to handle real-life situations. Another reason the journey feels complicated is because timing rarely aligns perfectly in the early stages. One person may be growing through a transition while the other is still releasing past experiences. This difference in timing can create distance, hesitation, or misunderstanding. However, these mismatched phases are not permanent obstacles. They are temporary stages of preparation. As each person evolves at their own pace, alignment gradually becomes more natural and stable. External circumstances also contribute to the complexity. Life responsibilities, personal priorities, and unexpected changes can influence the direction each person is taking. These factors can make the journey appear disorganized or uncertain, but they are part of the broader structure of life experience that shapes readiness. What seems like interruption is often redirection toward growth that is necessary before connection can fully develop. There is also a deeper layer of learning involved in patience and understanding. When a journey feels complicated, it often teaches individuals to slow down, reflect, and recognize that not everything meaningful arrives instantly. It encourages emotional awareness and the ability to trust processes that are not immediately visible. Over time, what once felt complicated begins to make sense as the pieces gradually align. The confusion reduces, the direction becomes clearer, and what seemed uncertain transforms into a path that was quietly forming all along towards something more intentional, balanced, and ready for lasting connection. The place where this connection happens will surprise you because it is often not defined by expectation, planning, or ideal conditions, but by timing that feels natural when everything finally aligns. Most people imagine meaningful encounters occurring in carefully designed moments, perfect settings, prepared conversations, or emotionally anticipated situations. However, life rarely follows these imagined scenarios. Instead, significant connections often appear in ordinary, unexpected, or transitional moments where nothing feels extraordinary at first glance. One reason for this surprise is that life tends to introduce important relationships in environments where you are not actively searching. When attention is not focused on prediction or expectation, the mind is more open, relaxed, and authentic. In these moments, there is less pressure to perform or analyze outcomes, allowing genuine interaction to occur more naturally. This creates space for recognition that is not forced, but felt instinctively when the right presence appears. Another reason is that the circumstances surrounding the connection are often unrelated to the idea of romance or significance at the beginning. It may occur during a period of change, personal growth, work, travel, or even uncertainty. At first, the situation may seem ordinary or temporary, with no indication of deeper meaning. But over time, what begins as a simple moment can gradually reveal itself as something far more meaningful than initially perceived. The surprising nature of the place also reflects the unpredictability of personal journeys. Each individual is moving through their own path of experiences, responsibilities, and transformations. Because of this, the intersection point is not always planned. It is formed through alignment of timing and direction. When both paths naturally cross, the setting may not match expectations, but it matches readiness. There is also an important lesson hidden within this surprise. It teaches that connection is not limited to specific environments or conditions. Meaningful relationships are not confined to ideal situations. They can emerge anywhere growth, awareness, and timing meet. This understanding removes rigid expectations and allows life to unfold more freely without resistance. When the moment finally arrives, the focus is not on where it happens, but on the realization that it was always meant to happen exactly there. And in that realization, surprise transforms into understanding, and what once felt unexpected becomes recognized as perfectly aligned with the journey that led both individuals to that exact point in time and space, while everything is being shaped, aligned, and prepared in ways you cannot fully see yet. What you must do right now is focus on becoming emotionally, mentally, and spiritually ready for what is forming in your life. Many people make the mistake of overthinking timing instead of improving themselves during the waiting process. But the waiting period is not empty, it is active preparation. It is a phase where your mindset, habits, and emotional strength are quietly being tested and refined so that when the right moment arrives, you are not overwhelmed by it, but prepared for it. The first thing you must do is stop forcing outcomes. Forcing creates resistance, and resistance blocks natural alignment. When something is truly meant for you, it does not require constant struggle to hold on to it. Instead of trying to control timing or predict how things will unfold, shift your focus towards self-improvement. Build stability within yourself so that external uncertainty does not shake your direction. The second thing is to develop emotional balance. This means learning how to remain grounded even when things feel unclear or delayed. Emotional balance allows you to respond rather than react, to observe rather than assume, and to trust rather than panic. This stability becomes essential when life begins to bring meaningful changes that require maturity and clarity. The third step is to remove distractions that pull your attention away from growth. Not everything that occupies your time contributes to your future. Some things simply fill space without adding value. By reducing unnecessary noise, whether mental, emotional, or environmental, you create space for clarity, awareness, and direction to develop naturally. Another important step is to trust the process even when you do not understand it fully. Understanding often comes after experience, not before it. You may not see how everything is connecting right now, but that does not mean nothing is happening. Progress is often invisible until it reaches a point where it becomes undeniable. Most importantly, stay aligned with becoming the best version of yourself rather than chasing certainty about outcomes. When you focus on growth, clarity follows naturally. When you focus on alignment, timing adjusts itself. And when you focus on becoming ready, what is meant for you will no longer feel uncertain or distant, but something that naturally fits into your life when the moment finally arrives at exactly the right time. As we come to the end of this message, take a moment to reflect on everything you have heard. This was never just about relationships or timing alone. It was about preparation, awareness, and understanding how life quietly aligns people, situations, and experiences in ways that are not always visible in the beginning. What feels uncertain today may already be part of a process that is slowly forming something meaningful in the background of your life. You have been reminded that distance is not always rejection, but often preparation. You have learned that emotional shifts, silent changes, and personal growth are all part of becoming ready for something deeper. You have also seen how confusion is not always a sign of wrong direction, but sometimes a sign that development is still taking place. And through it all, one truth remains clear. Timing plays a role far greater than immediate understanding. The journey you are in is not random. Every delay, every change, every unexpected turn is shaping you in ways you may only understand later. What feels complicated today may become clear in hindsight when the full picture is revealed. And when that understanding comes, you will realize that nothing was wasted and nothing was truly out of place. But perhaps the most important message is this: while life is aligning what is meant for you, you must also align yourself. Growth is not passive. It requires awareness, discipline, emotional balance, and the willingness to let go of what no longer serves you. The more you focus on becoming ready, the more naturally things begin to align around you. So as you leave this message, do not leave with confusion or pressure. Leave with trust. Trust that what is meant for you is not lost. Trust that what is delayed is not denied. Trust that what is forming in silence will one day become visible at exactly the right time. Keep growing. Keep healing. Keep becoming. Because when the moment arrives, you will not need to force it, question it, or chase it. You will simply recognize it as something that was always meant to find its way to you.